Good evening. It's Saturday, the 22nd of November. You're tuned in to our 6 p.m. newscast, coming to you from Arirang's news centre in Seoul. It's very good to have you with us. I'm Mark Broome. And we start with news that prosecutors in Paris have launched a full-scale investigation into the sudden disappearance of a North Korean student linked to the political rivals of the regime's leader Kim Jong-un. News agency AFP reports a case was opened due to fears the student could be executed if he were forcibly repatriated to Pyongyang. French authorities are still attempting to work out if he escaped the clutches of suspected North Korean agents and is still somewhere in France. The student, identified only by his family name Han, has not been seen for over 2 weeks now. He's the son of a close aide to Jang, Kim Jong-un's uncle, who was purged and swiftly executed late last year on charges of treason. Han's father was also executed recently as part of the regime's continued liquidation of Jang's inner circle. A shocking new report reveals that the North Korean regime makes up to $2 billion a year from the forced labour of its citizens abroad. The Asan Institute for Policy Studies report, based on research done in 2013, says about 50,000 North Koreans are working as slaves overseas in 16 different countries, including Russia and China. Researchers say the workers are rarely paid directly and are constantly under surveillance on site. Those in forced labour are sent by the North Korean regime to do very dangerous jobs, such as logging or working on construction sites in deepest, darkest Siberia. The Institute presented its report on Friday to the Washington-based think tank Stimson Center. North Korea is believed to be making progress in developing a new kind of ballistic missile. This time it seems to be an underwater submarine-based one, and some defense officials in the US say Pyongyang has already begun some kind of preliminary testing. Our Connie Lee reports.
This is a satellite image of North Korea's test facility, the Sinpo South Shipyard. In the middle of the photo is a launching test stand where it's believed North Korea conducted a test of an ejection launcher in late October for its submarine-launched ballistic missile program. The report from the conservative American online news site, The Washington Free Beacon, cites 2 unidentified U.S. defense officials for the information. It says the test simulated the initial stage of boosting a missile out of a submarine launch tube. The officials say it's a sign Pyongyang is making progress on its underwater missile technology. The report comes a couple of weeks after South Korean military sources said Pyongyang had launched a refurbished Soviet-era submarine, and about a month after the Sinpo test facility was first revealed by 38 North, a U.S.-based website that analyzes satellite imagery of North Korea's military and nuclear sites. Experts say a submarine-launched missile would give North Korea the ability to strike the mainland United States. The Washington Free Beacon quotes a former intelligence official who says that because of technical challenges, it could be years before North Korea is successful. But with the help of foreigners, such as the Russians, progress could be sped up. Connie Lee, Arirang News.
Now, Korean Prime Minister Jang Hong-won has left for a week-long economic diplomacy tour to Egypt, Morocco and Azerbaijan. The Prime Minister's office says Jang is scheduled to meet with his Egyptian counterpart, Ibrahim Malab, this weekend to push the benefits of Korean firms working with Egypt on its huge nuclear reactor construction project, as well as on defense-related activities. Leaving Egypt on Monday, Jang will head to Morocco for talks with his Moroccan counterpart on ways to boost ties in the fields of construction, industrial plants and also renewable energy. The final leg of his trip will see the Prime Minister in Azerbaijan on Wednesday. Officials say he'll hold talks with President Ilham Aliyev on infrastructure and defense-related projects. Prime Minister Jang is due to return to Seoul next Saturday. Now to the latest from the United States, where the immigration debate is front and centre yet again. And President Barack Obama has vowed to never give up in his push for further immigration reform. Speaking in Las Vegas on Friday, Obama said he was going to keep working to make permanent reform a reality. Using his executive powers this week, Obama laid out plans which will ensure 5 million illegal immigrants in America will now be allowed to stay and work. The Republicans continue to condemn the president for bypassing Congress. House of Representatives Speaker John Boehner says the Republicans are looking at all options available to them. But he stressed the party will react strongly. Many Republicans believe Obama's action will encourage more people to enter the country unlawfully. While the eyes of the world are fixed on the Ebola epidemic in West Africa, another health emergency is happening on the other side of that continent. It has emerged that an outbreak of bubonic plague in Madagascar has killed 40 people in less than 3 months. The World Health Organization says the disease has killed more than 1/3 of the confirmed cases reported since the end of August. On top of this, 2 cases developed into pneumonic plague, one of the most deadly infectious diseases on the planet. It can kill a person within just a single day. There are also mounting concerns the number of cases could skyrocket as people have started falling sick in the country's densely populated capital, Antananarivo. The plague is a bacterial disease usually passed between rodents via fleas. There are not currently any trade nor travel restrictions in place. Now, 10 or 20 years ago, it would be hard to imagine the technology we take for granted these days. So what might be coming down the line in the future? Well, 2 things taking steps closer to reality are Harry Potter-style invisibility cloaks and gadgets that let you watch 3D objects floating in space from any angle, like those seen in the Star Wars movies. And researchers hope technology such as this can be used in practical applications as well. Our Shin Se-min reports.
Doctors can now examine patients without having to physically examine them. Take this case, for instance, of a woman who is experiencing pain after falling down some stairs. She reaches out for help, and a doctor is there, giving her his undivided attention. This is all possible even if they're not in the same room, because the patient is an avatar made of a 3D hologram. Body type, weight, and even the patient's blood pressure are virtually mirrored.
So our software allows you to use virtual patients that are much more flexible. They can represent everything you see in a real hospital, and they can do that for a fraction of the price.
Doctors that use equipment can remotely examine patients, receive data, and analyze their symptoms. Harry Potter's magical invisibility cloak has also become more of a reality. Researchers at the University of Rochester have discovered a way to hide objects from view. Called the Rochester Cloak, the device is made of 4 lenses that can make something look invisible based on changing points of view. And the key behind this cloaking technique is the distance between the lenses.
This is the first device that we know of that can do 3-dimensional, continuously multi-directional cloaking, which works for transmitting rays in the visible spectrum.
With more high-tech innovations making their way into our real lives, demand and anticipation is growing as to what big invention will come next. Shin Se-min, Arirang News.
3 of Korea's national parks have been added to an international list of protected areas. Now, this is especially welcome news as the list is the global standard for maintaining and protecting natural areas around the world. Our Son Jong-in reports.
Jirisan National Park, which includes the 2nd highest mountain in Korea, is the country's first national park. The mountain is considered by many as a treasure chest of nature that boasts beautiful seasonal scenery. Designated as a biosphere preservation district by UNESCO, Seoraksan National Park is home to abundant flora and fauna that attract tourists all year round. It is also internationally recognized for its rare plant and animal species. Odaesan, which means Five Plains Mountain, is acknowledged for maintaining a healthy ecosystem. The mountain is often compared to North Korea's Mount Kumgang for its scenic landscapes. These 3 national parks were officially registered on the Green List set by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, which recognizes natural areas that are well protected and benefit the well-being of people.
We have a reference group which is made up of scientists that know the situation of the country well, and they can evaluate what needs to be done.
23 sites from 8 countries, including Korea, China, and France, were added to the list after meeting a demanding set of criteria that includes effective management and long-lasting conservation outcomes.
These well-maintained national parks were acknowledged by an international group, which raises our level of confidence.
Korea aims to have up to 10 more sites added to the list to enhance Korea's image as a leading country in the field of environment. 손정인, Arirang News.
Before we go, leaving you with a brief look at the weather here in Korea. And it's been a wet, not particularly rainy day across most of the central region, but the rest of the weekend should be dry and actually pretty mild for this time of year. The overnight low tonight will drop, however, to 2 degrees Celsius in Seoul. We'll see temperatures in the low to mid-teens nationwide on Sunday under partly cloudy skies. And finally, for our viewers overseas, let's take a look at the weather conditions in your part of the world. Well, that's all we have for now. Do enjoy the rest of your Saturday wherever you're watching us, and stay tuned to Arirang TV. We'll be back again for our next newscast at 10 p.m. Korea time. Until then, goodbye.